Welcome back to Guru Chronicles with your host, Soul Guru. Thank you for joining me again for our fourth installment, or shall I say fourth chronicle. Things are going well. I appreciate you guys who are subscribing. Thank you for following this channel and staying enlightened and continuing to grow on your own path and journey to become your own guru. So thank you so much. Today what I want to get into is in the midst of your journey, and as you are continuing to go deeper into self-actualization and render yourself, purge yourself of just some things you know are keeping you back from being a better you, a better person. Like the last thing we discussed, being okay with who you are as you're growing and developing. Before that, breaking the chains, those things, those negatives, those behaviors, those things that keep you back and off track of moving forward and in what you really want to do and areas where you want to progress in life. And then, of course, the first one, which is whether or not you're just existing or are you really walking in your purpose right now. So I've got a lot of good feedback in person about that to people who are following this channel and everything. So the Soul Guru is very happy. And I want to clarify something real quick. Soul Guru meaning not for necessarily the soul, but always overcoming my soul. Okay, so I want to be a guru at overcoming my soul. I consider myself elevating to that place. And I want you to share that journey with me, because we all could tighten up in some areas within our soul, which is the mind, the will, and your emotions. Okay, so today what I want to talk about is something that's a little funny to me, which is what we all deal with is that person. So today's theme is don't be that person. Don't be that person. And what I mean by that is I had to take some notes on this one, so I hope you don't mind me looking down here and there just to take a look, but I had to put up like a little chart here, selfish versus selfless, okay? Less of self, and then you have selfish, more of, you know what I'm saying? So with the selfish part, this person's always in the conversation. They always have something to say. As you're trying to better yourself, you may be praying and fasting or what have you, or, whatever path of enlightenment you're on, you're trying to better yourself. But there's a person that's always in your conversation. They always have an answer. They always have something to say. They're never wrong. You have to watch out for this person and make sure you're not that person. This person always has to have attention. They're always talking about what they have, what they're doing, what's being given to them, how they're blessed. Sometimes they're disguised as what God blessed me with. And I'm just like, I sense no humility in that whatsoever. So you have to be careful to not be that person. Sometimes this person always seems to want favors. They always have someone doing something for them. Are you that person? Are you that person that's always asking? Are you ever providing? Are you ever the one giving service to someone else? Are you ever the one that gives attention to someone else? When you come back from a social event with your significant other, your spouse, or a good friend, or what have you, what feedback do you hear? Do you hear, from other people that you talk a lot? Do you hear from other people that no one else can get a word in? Do you hear from people that you're hard-headed? Sometimes when you hear these things and you hear them for a while, sometimes it's not just them. A lot of times it is you. And that makes you that person. So you have to recognize that. You got to recognize it and deal with it. And we went through those steps in previous chronicles on how to deal with those types of things. Stepping back and just being honest with yourself. Am I the person that talk a lot? Sometimes when I talk to people, I say, am I burning your ears? Am I holding your ears hostage? I try to remain conscious in the conversation. And even if I'm enjoying myself, I try to make sure I'm not blocking or cutting them out so they just don't feel like they're just there and I'm the one dominating the conversation, even on the level of attention or celebrating something someone has done. So all those things are just, it's amazing. In a lot of social interactions and circles, we tend to have that type of experience. And so when you do, you have to make sure you're in the right place and that you're self-evaluating yourself at that time and making sure that you're not that person. Because sometimes the very things that annoy us, the very things that get on our nerves and we talk about to our significant other and our friends, we might be doing it. We just might be doing it. And we all as humans have tendencies, but some tendencies can be more negatively effective than others, towards others, can negatively affect others. So we want to be mindful that we're balanced. You always want to make sure you're balanced. If you're imbalanced, that can be an abomination. Okay, that can really be, an imbalance is not a good thing, you know. So moderation is always good, especially in the social scene and in the social sciences, and when you're interacting with people and you want to get along with people. So I just want to share that. Some observations I've noticed: are you the one on the road, on the highway, blocking and cutting people off, always blowing your horn? Do you ever let people in when you're coming off a beltway or you're coming off a ramp? Are you that person that cuts people off? Do you race and don't look at other people, but you know you're racing to try to get ahead? If you're that person. That's you. I've noticed also going to Walmart, no one reads signs no more. We're so self-absorbed now. Do you notice that people walk in, they exit? They don't even, it doesn't matter as long as there's an interest, people just walk in. So when you're going out reading the sign, they're not. So they look at you like you're crazy, and you're like, they are that person. At that time, I'm like, okay, am I tripping? Am I being too anal? Am I, I still go through a brief check, make sure I'm not tripping. But I see how disconnected we're getting as a nation. We're getting so self-absorbed, so self-driven, and that's affecting our families, it's affecting our relationships, and it affects our self-perception, and we don't even know it. So, just a few nuggets, just to go through some things. Let's move from the place of self-preservation and self-advancement, and let's try to move towards the thought of teamwork, collectiveness, and collaboration. I think that will work more effective for us as a people, within yourself, within your family, within your community, within this nation. Because we know in this life we're going to be tested. We're going to have issues, we're going to have trials. And as I always say, we go through. But you make sure if you watch this video, you subscribe and you like it, and you have to check in with your soul guru. I'm out.